My name's Bob Ditco. I work for Stewart Township of Tucson. I've been in the real estate industry for 19 years.
In your words, what's the difference between exchanging or creative real estate, whatever you want to call it, and conventional brokerage?
The difference is there's a lot more opportunities to turn around and buy. There's a lot more ways to make a deal work. If you turn around and want to go through conventional ways, you got to make sure you have at least upfront money, 20 to 30%, sometimes up to 60%. You have to make sure you have the right credit. You have to make sure you have the right marketing tools, business plan, marketing plan to set up.
So with exchanging,
With exchanging, you've got a variety of different ways to make something work. For an example, if I want to buy a glass company, I can turn around. If I have money already set up, I can turn around and buy it straight out, or I can trade property for it if the owners are willing to do that. I can trade property, I can trade boats, I can trade jade, I can trade pretty much anything that they would see valuable. If they want to accept that, I could trade it for the property if the property's paid off or doesn't have too much of a loan on it.
so what they talk a lot about is benefits-based real estate and looking at the benefits for the different clients involved.
Every file, every property, every deal is different than the other. You don't have one that's the same. So it's not like you can turn around and cookie cutter a way to do a project when it comes to exchanging. If you've got property in Montana that you want to get rid of because you just can't take care of it no more, and you wish to buy a building that's being run and taken care of by itself because you just want the money out of the rent that comes from it, you can find somebody in the United States or somewhere in the world that'll trade for you.
That seems to be another benefit, is that a lot of brokers now can do out-of-state deals.
A lot of brokers do out-of-state deals all the time. As a matter of fact, we see a lot more brokers come to Arizona just because of the weather. So as they're coming, they're bringing their people and they're trying to find properties. California, Oregon, Washington, some of the states that have the higher taxes, they're looking to put opportunities here in Arizona, and they land here in Tucson quite a bit.
So working for a title company, have you benefited from coming to meetings like this?
It's really fun because what I end up doing is grabbing the packets of all the exchangers' properties, and as somebody asks me, what do you have, what do you know how to find this, I can go through that page and give them a name right off the bat. Usually there's a property somewhere that somebody wants. They don't think about it. It opens up opportunities for people that are selling their properties to go, what am I going to do next? A lot of people have to be educated and want to 1031 so they're not losing taxes. So if you're 85 years old and you do not want to turn around and sell all your property off because you don't know what you can do with all the money and you're afraid you're going to lose it, teaching somebody a 1031 or their family members a 1031 so they can keep the money and the property inside the family, or turn around and trade it for something the family can use, can make a world of difference.
Do you feel like there's a higher level of teamwork or camaraderie?
You have to have teamwork in order to do something like this. It takes a team to put it together. No matter if you're on the buyer side or the seller side, you have to get together, you have to compromise, you have to come to reasons. You have to use open communication. You've got to write it out, make it simple for the people, because a lot of people do not know how to make it happen if it's difficult.
So there's two parts. Is it harder and is it more rewarding?
It's harder sometimes only if you want it to be. It's more rewarding because when you can walk away from a deal and say, I just saved this person their property, I just saved this person their lifetime of savings, putting on something they can actually use, yeah, it becomes a lot more rewarding. There's a lot more openness on how to make things happen than in a ball of turning around and doing it just through banks.
Can you explain to someone who doesn't know what a formula is and why you guys use formulas?
Well, there's thousands of different formulas, and if you see a formula that actually works for you, you don't want to turn around and change that formula. So an example, if you've got property that you can trade for 1031 that's going to be exact property for somewhere else, you want to move somewhere warmer. You want to come from Minnesota and you own a warehouse. You want to turn around, sell or trade your warehouse. You can sell that warehouse to somebody up there, or trade that warehouse or property down in Arizona where you want to be, move down here, and you can trade it with cash or even add cash to the deal. So let's say your warehouse is worth $1 million. You want to come to Tucson, that warehouse is $1,500,000. Trading that property up there so you can buy this property up here and add $500,000 cash to the deal can happen. Sometimes you don't even have to go through a loan if you have that cash in advance.
Do you like your job?
I love what I do. I get to turn around and teach Southern Arizona growth. I get to teach marketing, social networking, follow up. I get to teach people how to meet people. That's the best part about it. If I turn around and can sit in a meeting like this and somebody says, Bob, I need to meet somebody that has land, I can introduce them to 15 different people who have land right off the bat. You get to meet and you get to turn around and talk to as many people as you want to. You get to open up as many doors as you want to. I work for Stewart Title. I'm in the communications department. I'm also in the education department and in the marketing department. So what I do is I teach people Southern Arizona growth. You want to know what's happening in Southern Arizona? I can tell you where it's going in and why. I teach people social networking. We've got social networking out there in so many different forms and fashions, but nobody's using it to their expertise. Did you know you could do a video for a minute and a half and draw over 1,000 people in on it? So opening up doors and creating minds and creating successful marketing is what I like to do.
Why is Southern Arizona an exciting market for investors?
Because it's growing right now. Because we've got the weather, we've got the tax base, we've got the land to do it. All we have to turn around and do is make it work.
What you were talking about yesterday?
What I was talking about yesterday is that on our market here in Tucson, we have 2,900 homes on the market. Actually, I'm wrong. We have 2,099 homes on the market. That's the last count to the MLS. With that in mind, in order for Tucson and the Arizona area here, Southern Arizona, to have a healthy market, we need to be over 5,900 homes on the market. That gives us about 3.5 months worth of supply. With 2,099 homes in the market, that gives us a month and a half supply. So your seller's market and your buyer's market are starting to intermingle. The buyers are right now not in any hurry to take off and get something they don't want. The sellers are trying to hold their price because they think that they can get the best top dollar that they possibly can. It slows the market down just enough to where we start needing to open up doors in different ways to bring more market to Tucson. Some of the things that we need to do out there is look at who's sitting in a home for the last 20, 30, 40 years. We see a lot in Tucson where these homes where people are in their 40 years, they have it paid off, they're making about $900 a month from Social Security and they can't afford to move. They can't afford to work on their home and they just don't have the energy to do it anymore. So for an example, if we did a reverse mortgage on a home, they could turn around and stay in that home and put money back in their pocket. If they sold that $400,000 home, took the money, bought a townhome with a reverse mortgage, $200,000 townhome, put $100,000 down, they would never have to pay on that townhome again. As a matter of fact, they would put $300,000 in their pocket, and if they figured out they're going to live 100 years and they're 75 years old, divide that into 25 years and put it in. Now you have $1,800 to $1,900 a month to live off of. You have actually time, money, and a chance to enjoy life again. So there's different ways to make creative marketing happen here in Tucson.